Geral Celente. But first, this segment is sponsored by Outcrop Gold, where billionaire Eric Sprott just bought a 20% stake in the company, which is looking to hit it big. Outcrop Gold, symbol OCG in Canada and MRDDF in the U.S. And Vizsla Resources, a company that Eric Sprott also just made a $10 million investment in that has been drilling high-grade silver in Mexico. Vizsla Resources, symbol VZLA in Canada and VIZSF in the U.S. But without any further delay, here is Geral Celente. Joining us now is Geral Celente, founder of the Trends Research. Geral, let's get into this right away. We are still seeing this migration out of the cities. It's almost like it's accelerating. You had talked about this trend in February. It's happening up there where you are in Kingston, but it's also happening in certain pockets in different places in the country. All cash offers, above offering prices, but just in pockets where people want to escape to. Very interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, well, again, we saw it coming, and it was in the Trends Journal. You know my saying, when people lose everything and have nothing left to lose, they lose it. What do you got, 30 million plus lost their jobs? And who lost their jobs? Mostly people, a lot of people at the lower income level. The numbers are right there. Tourism, dead. Hospitality sector, dead. Restaurant business, dying. And you mentioned about, with people moving up to Kingston. Bloomberg wrote a whole story. This is the prices have gone up here in Kingston more than anywhere else in America, the highest rate of increases. We're 90 miles north of New York City, first capital, and I own those historic buildings here. But, that makes me sad. I'm not happy. All my values are going up. It's sad because, I can see the destruction ahead. And New York City's a ghost town. And people are coming up here. Well, they're hiding when they're coming up here. The streets are empty. So this is really big. And you look at the homicide rates. Again, we said this would happen. When people lose everything and have nothing left to lose, they lose it. And they're losing it. They're losing it philosophically, mentally, financially. And so people are leaving these places. I mean, I lived in Chicago. And so what did they do last week? Or this week? They closed it down. They closed down the bridges going into the Loop because they're looting the place on the Magnificent Mile. I mean, this should be the headline news. Instead, they're freaking people out. The number of cases, the cases increased. Yeah, but the death rate's going down. Look what they've done. It's all over the world, not only America. Look what they've done in Australia. Look what they've done in New Zealand. New Zealand, 5,000 people, 22 deaths in 5 months. And they just locked down Auckland and other areas again for 12 more days. So, yeah, this thing is going down, and people are getting out. And it's all over the country. Again, it's not like Kingston, Chicago. It's going to be L.A., San Diego, Portland, Seattle. How many more times do you have to read the headlines? What's going on? Who would think this is going on in Portland to the level it is? So, yeah, it's very... And oh, by the way, take it global. They got the riots going on again down over there in Bolivia. They're blockading the streets. Again, we've been following this. There was demonstrations, riots, protests going on back when they had the contested election with Evo Morales. A new person came in. It was supposed to be a temporary government. It's been going on, and they keep postponing it. It's going to be a year later. And then you look at what's happened in Chile, in Lebanon. Look what's going on in Lebanon. It was, the place blew up. It was blowing up before that. One of our top trends for 2020 that we write in December of the year, so it's 2019 December, we put our top trends for 2020. What was the top one? Ready to explode. The world was exploding. Riots, protests, demonstrations. Lebanon, Algeria, France, Hong Kong, Chile, Bolivia, Peru, South Africa, India. And the COVID virus hit. What was the first thing China did? 106 people dead in China. That was the headline of our January 28th Trends Journal. Our next line was 1.4 billion still alive. New Black Plague? I'm saying, why are they doing this? I mean, why do they wear those face masks in China? Oh, couldn't be because of the pollution and over, 1.5 million people a year die of pollution-related diseases. Now all of a sudden they're closing down places with 106 dead. And what did they do? They ended the riots and protests in Hong Kong. They couldn't stop them before that. And I used to be on Hong Kong TV. And I talked to the reporters and things. What's going on? What's going on? Oh, we're not going to stop. There's nothing that's going to stop us. Yeah, guess what? It stopped. It's over. Finished. Finito. Hong Kong is now Beijing. Totally under control. The deal they signed with the UK when they turned it over in 1997 finished. Hey, what did they do over in India? Oh, there were protest demonstrations going on all over the place. Wrote about it in detail. Lost over 1 million jobs in just in the car industry by late 2019. Look, we're locking down the place. We're locking it down. Same thing in Chile. Same thing in Bolivia. So now when I'm saying a crime rate, this thing was blowing up already. And now people are out of work. They don't have any jobs. Tourism's dead. The emerging markets are submerging. So this is going to get really ugly really fast. I talk about India. What is it, a country of what? Almost 1.4 billion people? 49,143 cases. Oh, yeah, it's a high luxury living in India. You don't die of anything. No poisons anywhere. Drink that water, eat the food, no chemicals, no nothing. It's great. You're telling me that 50,000 people died in 5 months and you lock down the place? They're locking it down because the people are rising up. So, yeah, we're going to see crime skyrocket around the world.
Gerald, along those lines, we're seeing this defund the police movement. In Austin, they just lowered the police force's budget by 1/3. The city council just voted on that. But it does pave the way and open the door for increased crime in those areas. They run a big risk, don't they?
Every place does, yeah. And again, I'm not taking sides on this because, you see some of these police, throwing people to the ground and beating them up because not wearing a mask, not beating them up, but handcuffing a little kid. They could go over the edge, too. And by the way, I had the Occupy Peace and Unite for Freedom rally here in Kingston on the 4th of July. And you're not allowed to have one. The governor of New York, the little boy born on third base and thought he had a home run, Andy Cuomo, little nobody, along with his brother Chrissy. If Daddy wasn't Mario, you can't have this, but you can have all the Black Lives Matter protests. So I said, if they could protest, if they could do it, I could do it, and I did it. Had Judge Napolitano here from Fox. You know what the Kingston police did? Nothing. They don't bother you for little garbage, little crap. These are men. And we need them, particularly at a time when violence is going to escalate. And the people that are saying to defund them, these are the people that couldn't fight their way out of a paper bag. So this thing is, as I said, it's going to be a huge political issue in the presidential reality show of the United States. So that's where this nation is going. When you brought the police issue in, it's the divided states of America. Facts don't count. Only what you believe in your emotions. What's best for everybody isn't any good. What's best for the nation doesn't count. It's my agenda. That's all that matters. That's the new way.
And Gerald, I'm just about to ask you about gold, but we received so many emails asking which of these junior companies to invest in. One of those is Gold Standard Ventures that is looking to hit it big in Nevada, symbol GSV in Canada and on the New York Stock Exchange. And finally, a second exciting company is one that just announced a major acquisition and a 3-way stock split, which means that each shareholder will soon own shares in 3 different Tier 1 gold, silver, and copper discovery opportunities. The company I'm talking about is Orin Resources, led by Ivan Babic, symbol AUG in Canada and on the New York Stock Exchange. Now back to the interview with Geral Celente.
Gerald, let me ask you about gold and silver, because they've obviously had quite a run in 2020. We're digesting those gains now, pulling back. But what about the gold and silver markets with all of this money printing?
It's going to go up. Of course there's going to be a retraction, and of course they're going to do everything they can to bring it down. But I'm still very bullish on both. Even if gold goes down and gets, to 1750, so what? It'll go back up because all they're doing is printing money. I mentioned the emerging markets. They're dead. They're dead. South America, Latin America, poof. Hey, Argentina, wouldn't you want some of those pesos? No, I got it. Maybe the Bolivar from Venezuela is your kind of dough. You know, it's one after another. The Turkish lira. The euro, the dollar's going down, the euro's going up. Oh, yeah, the euro's in great shape, yeah. How many people just lost their jobs in Spain? I think it was only a little 1.3 million. Oh, yeah, the GDPs are doing great. Oh, tourism, wonderful. I mean, what do they got? About 12% of the Europe's GDP is tourism-based. Tourism's dead. People are afraid to fly. You can't go there if you're an American or from other countries. So why would the euro go up? Why is the dollar even where it is when they keep pumping all this digital trash backed by nothing and printed on nothing into the system? It's phony right in front of everybody's eyes, but they can't see it. Just like they've been feared with the COVID war, they won't see it. Who's dying? Well, only the facts. 50% of the people around the world from nursing homes, elder care homes, that had chronic illnesses before. In America, the death rate is so high because of obesity and type 2 diabetes, lung disorders, heart disease. Only 70% of Americans are overweight and 42% are obese. Can't figure out why this respiratory ailment is killing them. And again, are other people dying? Yeah, very small numbers. You don't close down a global economy. I'm giving you the numbers. One country after another. They're closing down parts of Australia again, right? They closed down Melbourne, the second biggest city. Yeah, this country of 25.5 million people. 25.5 million people. March, April, May, June, July, August, 375 people dead out of 25 million, mostly from nursing homes. Average age of Italy's deaths were over 80 years old. Massachusetts, 64% from nursing homes. One number after another. So they destroyed the global economy. They destroyed people's lives. Going back to what I was saying before, when people lose everything and have nothing left to lose, they lose it. And my fear is we're going to see these regional wars, civil wars break into regional wars, into world wars. And what to do to stop it? We got to rise to a higher level. What I suggest to everybody is that you better get in the best shape you can, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. I'm a visionary. I look ahead. And I'm not bragging, but I'll put my track record up against anybody in the world. Show me your books. Show me your magazines. Show me what you've written and spoke about. We can talk. The future that I see is hell on earth if we don't change this fast. And the way it changes is that the people become strong. The individual becomes strong. It's not about a leader. You don't lead your life into success by somebody else leading you. You lead it yourself. And that's what we need to do. We have to rise, each of us, to the highest level we can and stand up for freedom, liberty, love, and joy, because it's being sapped away from us every minute of the day.
And Joe, before we close, I just want to point out two companies very quickly. Mining legend Ross Beatty is investing in one of the highest grade producing gold mines in the world. That company is K92 Mining, symbol KNT in Canada and KNTNF in the U.S. That stock's been on quite a tear. And finally, there is Fosterville South, which has been such a huge story this year. They just released monster drill results that has billionaire Eric Sprott and Ross Beatty as investors and is looking to replicate the success of Kirkland Lake Gold. Fosterville South, symbol FSX in Canada and FSXLF in the U.S. Now back to the interview with Geral Celente.
Geral, let me ask you this in closing. For people around the world that are curious about the positive trends going forward, what are you seeing along those lines?
It can happen, again, if the people get in the best shape they can. And again, you go back to the whole New Age movement. And I wrote about that. The first book I worked on was Natural Healing back in 1986, Warner book. And Omega, one of the biggest, New Age places right in Rhinebeck where I lived at the time. People got into it because the economy was going down. You had the crash in 87. George Bush lost the election senior because the economy was going down. It's the economy, stupid. That was the line in the Clinton campaign. Remind people how bad it is. So when things started going down real low, people started finding the real truth within themselves. And that was the New Age movement. When the dot-com boom started happening, it was lost. It started dying. People started making a lot of money. So now people aren't making money. And you look back to when the Renaissance happened. It happened after the Black Plague, when some 60% of Europe was wiped out. So when there is a rebirth of art, beauty, liberty, love, and joy, then you have a Renaissance. Going back, alla Romana all'antica, in the manner of the Romans and the ancients, they said in Florence, to describe the quality of their work, because the quality of what was going on then wasn't very good, and the quality of what's going on now isn't very good. So people really have to take it into themselves to change the future, because it does not take a majority to prevail, but rather an irate, tireless minority, keen on setting brush fires of freedom in the minds of men, said Samuel Adams. And this is that Samuel Adams moment in America and for around the world.
And Gerald, as always, for people listening around the world that want to get involved in the Trends Journal, you do that online. You make it very easy. I think it's less than 29 cents a day. Can you tell them how they can get involved in that?
Sure. Just go to trendsjournal.com, trendsjournal.com. There's no other magazine like it. I'm not saying it because it's my magazine. We tell you what's going on, what's next, and what it all means, and how to prepare the best you can and prevail and prosper in the future. And the cover is by Anthony Frieda. There's nothing else like him. The one, you take a look at this week's, and you could go to trendsjournal.com, you'll see it. And it said, junk food, junk news equals junk brains. And the illustration says it all. People better, look, they're listening to King World News, so they're tuned in. And so we just bring a whole nother dimension that, you cover with very excellent, what you cover, and we go into other areas. So the people that are tuned into King World News understand what I'm talking about.
Geral Celente, founder and author of the Trends Journal. Thank you for joining us on King World News.
And thank you so much, Eric, and thank you for all that you do.
Be sure to tune in as we will continue to release interviews